What's going on, Aries? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having the most exciting month so far. It's getting about to be that time there, Aries. We get shifts happening in the air. We're actually getting closer to your season, but before we jump into that, Aries, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just phenomenal, Aries, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself is about you here. We're in for an amazing journey. Yeah, and let me tell you why there, Aries, because it is Celestial News Monthly. Literally, my favorite time of the month. Hands down. It just really just raised my vibration through the roof. But before we jump into that, Aries, I just wanted to remind you all and let you all know that I am doing personal readings. So this could be a great energy for you with all these planetary shifts that are getting ready to happen, how they're working in your charts there, Aries. Can give you a handout there, or if you want to know how to work with yourself more or understand yourself more energetically there, Aries, and kind of see how you're walking in your energies, how they're translating, what are maybe some things that are hindering us, what maybe some things that we need to feed a little bit more into. Because I've been telling you I have all this Leo energy, and I've been kind of walking into that bit differently, and even noticing where I can be a little more kind of impulsive and things. I have your ruler Mars in the first house, so you just kind of learn a lot about yourself there, Aries. So if you want to get a chart, understand your natal chart better, or if you just wanted to get a tarot reading, all those links down are there are links down in the description box with different Calendly schedules that you can set up there. Also, there are some links on my Instagram, same links in my Instagram bio there. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me, and I can further get into that, Aries. But also, too, something to be mindful of, that I will never reach out to you for readings. This will be something that you'll reach out to me. So just something to be mindful of. Scammers are about there, Aries. But I think that's all the housekeeping. So with this monthly spread, whenever you happen to come across this video, whenever the sun moves into a new sign, the Aries, we're going to talk about where the planets are and how we can work with the energies. And actually, there's some exciting stuff happening in your sign. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said there, Aries, let's jump into it. All right, Aries, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Oh, just thumbs up all over the place. And great energy all around here, there, Aries. Now, Aries, I have zodiac cards with the signs that the sun and the planets are in. I'm going to pull a card from this deck for each one of them, and then we'll get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, Aries, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for the situations, okay? And in case if y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below some links for some other readers that I like watching their Aries, so check them out. One of them's an Aries. He's actually very fantastic. I love his very inspiring when he taps into his Aries energy. But, all right, hold on there, Aries. Thank you, guys. But yeah, definitely check them out. Go show them some love there, Aries. There's also a link for an astrologer that I like watching. There are some links for some podcasts that I've been really jamming out to, and some links for some astrology apps that I really enjoy working with their Aries. And, consider we're going to be in collaboration soon. Might be something to add to your tool belt. So definitely avail yourself of all this information there, Aries. But before we get into this planetary party that Pisces is throwing down in their sign, I did want to talk about a couple of aspects that are getting ready to take place during this season. And the first one is, I feel like, a very interesting one for those of you who especially have either cardinal placements or, well, which would be Aries placements, but more specific Aries placements around like 16 degrees of Aries. But you have Chiron that's going to be conjunct the North Node in your sign on the 19th of February. And this will be going on for quite a while there, Aries. And, you know, with this energy that's this, you know, because Chiron is the wounded healer. It's that wound, you know, especially being in your sign, it's that wound to our self-esteem, to our sense of identity, where we maybe undercompensate or overcompensate in a sense. And how do we heal that sense of self, how we see ourselves in the world. And the North Node, I feel like, is like how you show up in your, how you're showing up in your journey, you know, or do you have this is a lot of energy of courage and bravery to face these sort of maybe insecurities and things, whether it comes to maybe taking that leap towards that promotion or making this move or talking with that someone or pursuing these dreams, whatever that may be manifesting for you. This can really be a very healing energy of yourself, you know, and if you've been struggling with, you know, this willpower, or maybe been struggling with impulsivity, or just wherever this energy kind of comes up through you, you know, maybe even where we feel, because at a lower expression, your energy can be this channel into these energies of aggression and maybe frustration, and that's just coming from that Martian energy, you know. But you know, all energies have a shadow side, but there is a light side to that as well, you know. Learning when to react, or when to make a move, and when to pause, you know, where to be more mindful and how we're intentionally showing up in this world. But I do feel like, especially for those, if you have points that are around that 16th degree in either the cardinal signs or your cardinal signs, fire placements, even air placements will be affected with this as well. And this is even too, Aries, this is looking at, because when you're looking at the North Node as well, you need to look to the South Node, which is in Libra. And this could be challenging your signs as far as like, how do we, you know, that tug of war between ourselves and others, and how we're connecting with that. Have we maybe been too dependent on someone in a sense, or maybe we've been very domineering, even in a type of sense. So I feel like this is a very, for you especially, I feel like this can be a really kind of deep dive of who I am. And you know, see where you have the 16 degrees of Aries in your chart, you know, because that can show you where what house this is taking place in for you to even think about. This is happening in my house of the ninth house, the house of beliefs, the house of travel, the house of that higher learning. And you know, so it's like it can translate in different ways depending on where the stage is at of your house as well. So it is something to pay attention to there, Aries, and that's going to be forming conjunctions with your placement for a while, which I'll talk a little bit more when we get to that energy, what that conjunction, that fusion of energy means. But then you also have the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn are going to be forming a conjunction on the 28th of February at about 9 degrees. So if you have any mutable placements, that be Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, or if you have any water placements, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, even some earth placements would be infected by that as well in some way. That'll be your Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo placements. Who's that third one? So, but these, you know, the conjunctions, I can kind of at least talk about that. It's this blend of energy, you know, and it's asking, you know, you have this new planet that is not even new planet, this planet coming in this newer language, coming with a new lesson to deliver to these planets. And, you know, the planets show the what that we're needing to deal with. So if Mars is forming a conjunction, you know, where what do we need to integrate into our actions, or where have we become maybe overcompensating or under delivering, or if it's Venus, how are we integrating our relationships into our whatever placement this is forming for. Mercury, how are we thinking or communicating with this blend? So it's just seeing what energies are resonating with you and what seem to no longer be resonating, and how we can adapt with that. But this conjunction, I feel, is going to be really kind of powerful one, considering that it is happening in Pisces, because this is really kind of it's integrating this thought of who you may have assumed you were going to be, how you may have built this dream, this fantasy in your head, and now the Sun and Mercury are in this very intuitive, imaginative energy, thinking about the possibilities, but Saturn is coming through and giving that energy form. And I feel like it's not doing it in a way that's meant to be disheartening, but it's just coming through with this touch of realism. As far as understanding your limitations and your capacities, that we're not building or setting ourselves up for failure, because Saturn does recognize too that things take time, things don't happen overnight, and it can, depending how lofty the dream is, the more work that's going to be required. And so I feel this can be where we can do some real kind of deep introspective work in tandem with this nodal Chiron energy, because now it's like the nodes have been approaching your Aries placement from one aspect, and Chiron has been coming for another, and now they're getting ready to cross. And if we have Aries in like those early degrees or later degrees, it's like we're swapping, we're going to get this energy or these lessons regardless, and now it's integrating that stuff into who you are, and realizing that it is okay for us to change. We are these spiritual energies going through this human experience. So I feel this can be a very deep, transformative one for you, Aries, and one where you can use your creativity and your imagination to shape this version of this new version of who you want to be, and trust these insights and where they're offering you. So it's going to be very interesting energy for the soul tribe. But all right, let's get into this birthday bash sauce. And I think I about talked your head off there, which I got a lot more talking here, because you have, it's literally just a big lineup. Because you have the Sun that's in Pisces, Mercury that's in Pisces, Venus, the Empress, is going to be going through Pisces, which is going to be really lovely. Then you have Saturn that's still in Pisces, and Neptune as well. And let's start with the Sun, because the Sun is going to be entering on the 18th of February at about 11:13 p.m., and that'll be Eastern Time, Aries, and will be there through the 19th of March. And this marks the end of the zodiacal period. It takes the Sun 12 months to go around, to make its lap around the wheel, from your energy to Pisces. And I feel like it's reflecting on, and I feel this is nice for you too, considering that you start off the zodiacal wheel. Reflecting on how things have gone over this past year, where there have been some victories, would have been some areas where we could have learned some lessons, some challenges. And it can be a great energy of forgiveness and release, and meeting yourself and others with compassion, because Pisces does bring on this compassionate sort of sense, this softening to the energies. And this can be one where we learn to release any sort of past hurts and get into this practice of forgiveness for others and the lessons that they taught us, and for maybe ourselves where we felt like we could have delivered more, in a sense there, Aries. And this can be too where just knowing that intuition is heightened as well, the introspective work can go on. But one thing that we want to be mindful of with Pisces energy is the temptation towards escapisms, because maybe while you're going through you know, you've been getting these big questions of your Aries placement as far as like, where are you going on this journey? Are we sticking true to ourselves? And what do we need to heal as far as our self-esteem and where you know, our courage in things and how we present ourselves to the world. So there may be this energy where the stuff may feel too hard there, Aries, that we've been feeling a little more, maybe not like, just like feel it just like more slightly maybe self-conscious, maybe even. I feel like for some it's this energy that's coming through. But you know, just being mindful of that, escaping from these responsibilities and facing who we need to, where our higher energies want us to go to there, Aries. And then you have Mercury, who's going to be very busy in Pisces season, and actually going to be very busy in yours. And I like this energy for you there, Aries. But I'll talk about the Aries one next. But Mercury is going to enter into Pisces on the 23rd of February, and that'll be about 2:29 a.m. and will be there through the 9th of March. Now, I like when Mercury is in water signs, especially, well, I won't say especially in Pisces. I just like Mercury and water signs in general because now there's this fusion of the conscious mind and the subconscious. Their energies are more porous, and I feel that Mercury gets into Mercury allows their imagination to run wild, to trust those things that defy logic in a sense. They don't necessarily need a clear answer to get to this solution, to feel through this thing. There's a crease, I feel like, in sensitivity there. And I feel like that in that sensitivity, this is a time for you to dial up your receptivity of these energies and how these feelings and things that kind of go beyond the logical mind, you know, integrate themselves in you, Aries. You know, when you get those like intuitive nudges, or you get these sort of like these imaginative ideas, or because and this is something too to be mindful of, that now that Mercury is kind of working a little bit less methodically and more intuitively, that keeping, not that we can't necessarily ground our goals, but I feel like it can be a little bit harder to stick to things that are more kind of precise and that require a very strict logical approach. So this is, again, I feel like a very positive kind of, or a very kind of King of Swords, King of Cups combination that's going through there. And this could be a very enlightening type of energy for us there, and really learning again to trust that intuitive side of you. And then there's the lovely Empress, Venus, that's going to be entering into Pisces on the 11th of March, which is going to be about 5:50 p.m. and will be there through the 5th of April. And this is a very lovely placement for Venus to be, because after Taurus and Libra, the signs that she rules, she's exalted in Pisces. So she is very strong in Pisces. And I love that there's both, you know, this Neptune and Venus that have been having this communication in Pisces since about 2011. And, you know, this really... Because one thing to think about with this energy is that relationships take on a more kind of compassionate and tender quality. You know, we are able to understand ourselves more intuitively on a more psychic type of level. This can be a very kind of deep spiritual bond that we can form with others, and see each other in that oneness of source, you know, seeing us as this different expression there, and having this love for this expression. And creativity is very heightened during this energy as well there, Aries. And I feel like yours is one that is very prolific, you know, so I feel like this is a time to really kind of just, especially when you're thinking about how emotional this energy can be, and how, you know, taking those deeper emotions and spiritualities and merging that with your art can really bring about something very beautiful there, Aries. But one thing to be mindful of is that of sacrificing ourselves towards, or putting our needs before others first. They're like overcompensating and people pleasing and things like that. They're Aries. Then you have Saturn. Well, actually, let's talk about Neptune since I was getting on that track, because Neptune's going to be in her home sign of Pisces, because she's the traditional, or excuse me, the modern ruler, along with Jupiter, the traditional rulers. She's going to be in there until the 30th of March 2025, and of course she'll retrograde back into Pisces. So use those with the kind of early degree of Aries. That might be an interesting time for you, very intuitive time. But yeah, since 2011, there's been this deeper, this kind of deepening, strengthening of this connection to the divine, to the universe, and to this personal spiritual path, and reflect on how that has changed for you, Aries, maybe since that time, and how you have maybe gotten in touch with these more spiritual practices. Maybe we've been honoring the life inside of, because this doesn't mean you've just like started taking up meditation and just started doing just breathing, but maybe we are doing more breath work. Maybe we've been practicing yoga, maybe doing some more intentional things with the body, maybe like Tai Chi or whatever that may be looking like. I'm just picturing you doing some sort of just very intentional movements with your body there, Aries. And that may be thinking about a practice to consider there, because I feel like your sign, fire signs, really benefit from that energy of motion, but you in particular being ruled by Mars. That's something to maybe even understand yourselves a little more energetically. But yeah, just kind of reflect on that and how we've incorporated this in our kind of day to day there, Aries, but also more kind of on a collective level, because Neptune does deal with that universal oneness. And this transit can signal the rise to more kind of global movements that emphasize unity and compassion and healing, and sort of maybe bringing down this, this dream of, I was offered an experience, and on paper it looked fantastic. It was a wonderful dream. But then when you actually get in it, it's just like, oh, okay, so where was any of that? And it's just like, it's not that you don't want to be grateful for what they have, but there may be this disillusionment in like maybe old systems or existing structures or beliefs, or because Neptune can represent kind of big establishments, or like kind of like pharmacies, or it can be even like jails even, or places of confinement, just kind of seeing where. But this does offer, though, with all this, and maybe in that disillusionment, it does offer opportunities for, again, a lot of healing, both individually and collectively, and allowing for redemption of any sort of like past wounds or anything like that, Aries, and allowing us to clear up any sort of like, just karmic things. But last energy here, and then I told you I got a mouthful with Pisces. Then you have Saturn. That's going to be in Pisces until the 24th of May 2025. And of course, he'll be doing a retrograde dance back and forth between yours and Pisces sign as well. But this is a very interesting one, and I like this place for Saturn, because Saturn is this energy of discipline, of structure, of form. And now this asks you, I feel, to really take your imagination, and I feel like it's learning to see where things are possible, where we can bring some stuff to life here. And I feel like Saturn is closing doors as he's showing you these different things that we can, that make sense for us to invest our energies into, where it's just like, no, we need to, oh, this path seems very wise here. I like where you're getting tapping into this creativity or getting into this intuition. But yeah, it's just like now it's just asking you to sort of like, it doesn't do things any good to keep things in the dream world anymore. So I'm to take those messages and manifest them, these intuitive insights, and download them. And this invites us to get in a more disciplined practice with our spirituality and how we connect with source, how we get into that flow of the energies. And Again, what are some things that we may need to deal with, that we need to close out? Understanding the need for maybe even establishing healthier emotional habits and boundaries, and how we can, the importance of like shielding yourself from negative energies and like emotional overwhelm. And because I feel we've gotten to this place where we've kind of get kind of villainized emotions, and that you have to keep them suppressed, you have to numb them and things. But all that does is it's like you're not learning how to deal with them, because you got to be able to feel things to heal them. And so this is a very productive time, I feel like, for just creativity, spirituality, growth, and can lead to, definitely, I feel like, especially if you're and we're all creatives, but this, I feel, can lead to significant achievements in any sort of like artistic endeavors and anything like that, Aries. So, there's something to think about there with this energy. But let's go ahead and get to your first card here, which is the phase entanglement card, which is a card of emotional influence. And I feel that with this, considering we were especially just talking about that with Saturn, and having these emotional boundaries, paying attention to how others' words, actions, just different nuances of people, and how they can what kind of reactions do they stir up in you. Because I feel this energy is learning that we can't control things outside of ourselves, whether this be from how we think people maybe react to something that we say, to maybe even like the weather or whatever this is looking like. It's learning that the only thing that we can control is our emotions and it's not even, I feel like, it's a control. It's a learning that when this emotion comes up, what am I going to do with it? What is this emotion trying to teach me? Where am I maybe giving into the influences of this and becoming more reactive, maybe responding more impulsively, aggressively, whatever that's looking like. And I feel too, again, this is not necessarily getting a control, but this is a learning to work with your energies there, Aries. Because I feel that even again for you, paying attention to how these things come up with the body, because you are attuned with the self. But I remember I wouldn't necessarily say that I had, well, it was something I needed to understand anger a little bit more, because there would be times that I used to would get really frustrated, and I wouldn't know how. I'd try to keep it bottled up, like, no, it's okay, it's fine, and then I would lose it and just kind of blow up, and I never understood. It would just be this crippling thing. And so one day I needed to give it it came up again, and I gave it the space that it needed, and understood where that was coming from, where that programming may have been happening. And I feel that it's like how this person is kind of whispering to something too, because I'm feeling for some, like, I'm getting this this 5 of swords energy, where paying attention to especially like your immediate environment, how that affects you, what people tell you, maybe even in like your social media sphere. That might even be something too to kind of pay attention to there. And thinking how this girl's kind of giving this side eye to this one over here. It's just like, if something doesn't seem right to you, it's like we don't necessarily need to just engage into something blindly or just to fit in with the group there, Aries. But let me get some tarot on this and get some details. Interesting, Aries. Let me get the rest of the cards here before I get into that. Okay. Oh, we got a lot of energy here, Aries. Alright. Thank you, guys. See what's going on here, Aries. Oh, there you are. Oh, you got a lot of majors here. I'm with it. So, you have the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the Seven of Cups, the High Priestess, the Hierophant, the Sun, the Devil, and you there, Aries, the Emperor. Let's talk about the Devil. Because I feel that with this Devil here, Aries, again, we need to pay attention to how, because I feel that there's a certain emotion here, whether this be anger, whether this be depression, whether this be loneliness. You know, paying attention to how certain emotions get you maybe entangled up in something, how they may throw off your balance here, throw off your flow, get you in this place where you're feeling like you don't know how to make this move, or feeling like this indecisiveness that we're just ready to kind of give up in this sense. I almost feel like this owl is like kind of on the chopping block. That's very interesting for the Two of Swords there, Aries, but I just feel like there's something that this Seven of Cups is giving me. There's this newer option, or finding multiple options, I feel like, in ways to deal with these things that can potentially go from being where they controlled you to this sense of freedom, in a sense, shining a light on their true purpose there. But I do feel with the High Priestess, this is one where we're going to need to understand, and that's even very interesting too, just thinking with the Hierophant and the High Priestess there. Because both are they're divine counterparts, and they're very, as far the most powerful intuitives in this deck. And I feel like that this is you understanding yourself on a deep level, really tapping into, I just feel like you're just tuning into your almost like survival response, because again, you are tuned into Mars, and I feel like this can be to understand, especially if your sun sign or rising sign is in Aries. You know, your chart ruler is going to be Mars, and you need to understand how Mars is operating in your placements there. You know, is it operating in a reactive emotional? So maybe you have Mars in Cancer, where you may notice that your actions are triggered more by emotions, or maybe you have Mars in Aquarius, where, because Mars is one of those planets that, unlike Venus and Mercury, don't have to be within a certain range of the sun. You can be an Aries sun and have your Mars in Scorpio, you know. And so I feel like it is understanding yourself on a deeper level here, especially with you popping up in a very strong way there, Aries. And when this is coming out, because Mars still has a little bit before he moves into Aquarius, which is forming more of a sextile with your sign, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But where Mars is being in Capricorn, the Devil right now, Mars, even though it's forming a square with your Aries placements, Mars still does very well in Capricorn. He's exalted in this he's exalted in your sign, kind of like how Venus is exalted in Pisces, like that. But I feel this square just challenges you to, again, kind of slow down and be patient and trust, where I feel like it's like the moon. It's like it's like there's a need for something, some sort of subconscious sort of like healing there, understanding just something on just a more deeper intuitive level there, just finding the root of something there. And it's like you may need to go about finding this in a more untraditional way, I'm even feeling, or unconventional way, with the Hierophant being here. But alright, I think I'm going to leave that there, Aries. Just a little something to ponder. Now let's get a little water there, and let's talk about, let me actually move this, and let's talk about your energy. Because you have Mercury that's going to be entering your sign on the 9th of March, and then will be there through the 15th of May. And why so long? because Mercury is going to be going retrograde in your sign on the 1st of April, but we'll talk about that a little bit later there, Aries. But I'm excited for the retrograde in your sign because, oh well, I'm not going to talk about that yet, but Mars or Mercury in Aries, I feel like this is one where we can, where our actions, where our thoughts and our communications become a little more bold. I feel like where they feel even more possible. This is can be an energy for you to really help you tap into that inner emperor. Find where we may not have been brave, where we've been avoiding stepping up to the plate. You know, where we may have maybe quelled some ambitions and things, and now this I feel like is a time to live that authentic self there, because I like that this you got the sun here in your sign, and the sun does well in your sign there, Aries. But you know, it's getting ready to get to a powerful place there. We're almost done with this Capricorn season, so and I love that you and Capricorn showed up here, these two cardinals. But I feel that this can be an energy for where you can really take your passions and start to manifest them, to really start not just, you know, it's one thing you in that nebulous dreaming energy of Pisces, but now that you know we've had time to contemplate these dreams, get familiar with our information, we can take those intuitive insights and then again get them into motion, give them the fire that they need, look into our options, be a little more instinctual, trust that intuition when it speaks like, okay, maybe try this, maybe check this out. And yeah, I just feel like this can be a very kind of motivating you, get you thinking in a different sort of way, get your energy kind of spurred up there, Aries, because the nice thing, or you know, the thing with Mercury too, is that depending on where your placements are at, your Aries placements, this is forming a conjunction with your signs. And I feel like this for you can be this energy of just like looking at your options. I feel with the Seven of Cups kind of being here and just kind of analyzing which ones am I feeling passionate about, which ones when I feel this, I think, yes, this is the one that I want to do, and what's no longer resonating with me. And then starting this stuff off there, getting some things off the ground, and then when Mercury goes retrograde, this gives you a chance to reassess, you know, kind of, it's like we're going through this trial phase right now. Maybe there's been something you've been kind of flirting with for a little bit, and again now it's like getting you thinking about like, yeah, you know, maybe I can get this accomplished, you know, maybe I can go for this stuff here, especially where your ruler will move from this like getting the idea going, you know, thinking about what you want to start up, and then getting into that Aquarius energy where it's making these more opportunities start coming up for you. So I feel like Mercury and Mars are going to be really kind of working together in your sign, you know, creating this stuff. This could be a really, really, I feel like very time, what's the word I'm looking for? What am I trying to say? A time to really take advantage of opportunities that are coming your way there, Aries. Very fascinating. But let me get your oracle card on this and see what's going on with that, Aries. All right, Aries. Thank you, guys. All right. I love it. So you had loved that, because you have the 10th card here, which is Archangel Raziel, which is a card of wisdom, inspiration, and Akashic records. And the 10th card is Wheel of Fortune energy there, Aries. And I feel that this is you, this Mercury in Aries energy, I feel like is an energy that inspires, that kind of shines a light on things, you know, like, am I really happy with what I'm doing again? Does this make me passionate? Taking the wisdom from these past experiences, the work that you've put in up into now, the challenges that you face, and then I feel like it's tuning into that divine wisdom, this looking over. And that's interesting. You know, the Hierophant can be this teacher, and I feel like there's this. I'm picturing like just like life has been teaching you something up until now, there, Aries, and it's kind of going over this wisdom, going over these experiences with your guides, with your intuition, connecting to source, seeing where things may have been out of balance, where we may have been under some sort of subconscious programming in a sense there, would have been instilled in us, maybe through, because you know the emperor can be this authoritative figure, so maybe we had someone who maybe oppressed us in a sense, or but I do feel that it's just like things are changing. You know, this is a time for you to really kind of dive into more stuff that inspires you. You know, really kind of dig into that space. And again, I feel like it's you, like this Hierophant is giving me this kind of unconventional approach to what you've been doing up until now, trying something more innovative, really digging into that Mars in Aquarius. And let's get your tarot here, because I feel like that's that we're trying to get to. These guys are trying to get to that energy. So, oh, okay. I'm gonna take that as a definite sign, because there's your ruler, the Tower, Mars. So, oh, and so let me just tell you what happens. So it's like you got the Tower, Mars. You already here, and then your hottest minor arcana, Mars in Aries, pops up. So, alright. I love that, Aries. Thank you, guys. So, you have the Queen of Cups, the Six of Swords, the Two of Wands, and the Tower here, Aries. That's interesting. The Queen of Cups is giving me this, with this wisdom, these things that you've learned over this whatever period of time that you may be reflecting on there, Aries. I do feel like the Queen of Cups is, she asks us to look at ourselves with compassion. You know, we may not have understood why we were going through a certain experience, why we were, I just feel like that it's just like this owl is just like taking these thoughts that they've had, these experiences that he's gone through now, and how he's incorporating this knowledge and turning them into wisdom, because the swords represent the intellect, the mind, the thinking. And oh, if I'm remembering correctly, which the Six of Swords is Mercury in Aquarius. And I bring that up to say is that I feel that for some, it's that we've been needing to realize this brilliance of ourselves. And again, thinking outside of the box in a sense, you know. I feel the Two of Wands, you're at this crossroads, and it's just like, where do you want to put your energies toward? And I feel the Tower here is this kind of like lightning striking in a sense. You know, you just learning how to trust these instincts, because it doesn't feel, it feels less impulsive and reactive, and feels more kind of calculated in a sense. Again, more intuitive with how we're going about things going forward there, Aries. It's like we're tapping into this thing of, does this make sense? Does this resonate with me? And then if not, what are some other options here, where, or what obstacles are maybe getting in the way, or what are some, maybe even some, because the Hierophant can even be this energy of our beliefs, and it's just like how have maybe our values have changed, the things that we put stock in, how that has maybe evolved, even in a sense here with the Tower being here. And all right, Aries, but I think I'm going to leave that there. I love that. Your energy is coming through in a very strong way, which, I mean, duh, it is your reading, but yeah, you are showing up for yourself. A lot of strong support. The sun being exalted, your ruler being here, even the sign that he's exalted in, Capricorn, you know. And with the sun and the moon being here, the high priestess, I know it's not necessarily the actual moon card, but I mean, we're going to be having an eclipse in your sign here soon. And but let's talk about Aquarius, because you have Mars that's going to be entering there on the 22nd of February, which I like that energy there, Aries 222. But he'll enter there about 1:05 a.m. there, Aries. And like I was saying, I feel like there's something here about how you've just been operating is a little bit differently. And especially if we've noticed some sort of like reactive energies or some sort of emotions that tend to overwhelm you. There's coming at this from this detached approach, because to say that that Aquarius doesn't feel emotions, I feel like is that's not true. You know, they do process things just in a different way. You know, but I feel like this is you coming from a bit more of a detached place and understanding this thing a bit more, like still feeling it, but it's how do we process those feelings in the body and in the mind, and doing things differently. And I feel like with this Mars and Aquarius, and you may feel too, Aries, this rebellious energy where you've noticed that maybe there have been these sort of like maybe authorities over our life. And I feel like this doesn't just have to be people that may have been controlling over you. Just this, you can notice this aggression in where, or this rebelliousness with maybe even substances. Maybe we're feeling fed up with how we tend to resort back to the same old thing, possibly, or same old kind of vice, and now we're looking to change stuff up. We see where the damage is being done and where this healing needs to be incorporated here. But you may even notice too, Aries, that you may feel a need to kind of challenge the status quo in a sense. You know, feel like you're wanting to express your ideas a little bit more, not just take what people say maybe at face value, or challenge why can't there be this change. And people are more likely too to try to take actions towards making a difference in their communities, or maybe even the world there, Aries. You know, depending on how inspired you may be feeling there from your maybe talking with your archangel there. But you know, this is a energy for you to be kind of thinking kind of big there, and especially when I feel when your ruler makes that conjunction with Pluto. You know, they haven't spoken in that language in a while there. I have to look up to see when that last Mars Pluto conjunction in Aquarius would have happened. But you know, they're talking to them, kind of introducing themselves in this language, and Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. So I feel like it's like how you're working towards your higher octave. And let's talk about Pluto, because Pluto is going to be what we're going to be talking about for the next 20 years in Aquarius, because you know, Pluto doesn't move that often, you know, when he's making a move. But that's why these outer transits and things are very important there, Aries. And Pluto in Aquarius, you know, this is likely going to bring about some big kind of societal and political reforms. You know, this is a period where Tower is going to, I feel like the towers are going to be something, yeah, something electric with all this. I feel like this thunder in this Tower card, I feel like that's very appropriate, because Aquarius is very electric energy. You know, there's when the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, there were revolutions wrapping up, but it is a very innovative time as well. You know, we may see how you know, technology has very impacted us in a very big way, but I feel like with Aquarius, it's just like the fact that they rule technology can take it a step further. And I've been getting this sort of download. Just take it as it resonates, Aries. You know, that Aquarius can deal with space as well. So, you know, how, you know, Pluto's bringing things that may be revealed, you know, that could be interpreted. Maybe there's some sort of alien technology, whatever that's looking like. You know, again, take it as it resonates. But it's something that's been kind of, I've been flirting around it in the energies for a little bit. But Who knows what that may be looking like? It may not be during Pluto and Aquarius, but it may happen after. When those stuff. But I do feel like that the collective is changing. That the structures that no longer promotes the collective good, and it's not to say that they're just going to just go away. There's going to be this cling to want to control and to have this authority, but it's in that conflict that invites us to rise up. This, I feel like we're getting to this place where collectively, or individually, we can sit on the sidelines, but then we can't complain about that there's no change that's happening, or whatever that's looking like. If we don't, this is being the change that we want to see in the world, and how do we want to raise the vibration there, Aries? So that's going to be a big kind of question for you. They're going to create a lot of opportunities for you, because depending on where your Aries placements are, this is forming a sextile with your sign. And sextiles create this energy of opportunity. The planets are speaking very harmoniously. And so you can take this energy and create different opportunities. How can we show up as maybe even leaders in this new era there, Aries? Because again, yours is one that inspires, and I don't necessarily feel that this even has to be something where you're on the front lines. This can be you inspiring leaders there, Aries. However that may be looking like there for you, but I feel like that is a very cool energy that happens between you and Aquarius. It's like, how do you and that's very Aquarius. It's like, how do you as an individual, understanding who you are, really help bring up the collective through, I feel especially too, I feel like Chiron and even the nodes are kind of like grooming you, even in a sense, towards this new responsibility there. Do you have the bravery to step up to the plate there, Aries? I dig that. How exciting for you. Let's get an oracle on this, Aries. All right. Thank you, Aries. All right, Aries. So you have I love that. You have the personal guide here, personal guide card here, Aries, which is a card of guardian angel and spirit family. And I really like this energy, Aries, because I do feel that this is you. Because, again, you have the High Priestess, the Hierophant. This is you connecting with your guides. And Scorpio had something a little bit similar, as far as like that connection with something higher than yourself. Thinking a little bit bigger than, I feel Mars in Aquarius is you. I feel like there is this sort of energy with this guardian angel, just like, again, connecting to like this bigger picture energy. Aquarius being ruled by Uranus is like, I just pictured with Aquarius there, how they show in this card there, the vase, and the person that is pouring the water is higher self. There's this source speaking through Aquarius in this, because Aquarius energy is one that is ahead of their time, that think outside of the box, that may not make sense in that moment, but again, in the grand scheme of things, when it does come together, it's just like, oh, this is where my guides were trying to. So I feel like this is you tuning into this, like, especially during this Pisces season when we're all in this intuitive energy, honing that connection with your guides, because just even thinking about where the dispositors of where your ruler's at in Aquarius, Uranus, the modern ruler, who's in Taurus, and Saturn, who's in Pisces. And so you are in this energy of connecting with your guides to ask your guides, what can I build? What do I actually value? How do I want, almost like 10 of Pentacles. I feel like this is kind of happening for you there. And even this could be too, Aries, even finding your personal guide maybe in a less, maybe not necessarily in like just in the spiritual sense, but even amongst your spiritual family. You know, maybe this is getting in touch. Maybe you're becoming like a yoga teacher, or maybe you're, or whatever this may be looking like for you there. Or maybe even you becoming a guide for someone. Again, you going through this Hierophant, this initiatory energy here. But let me get some tarot on this Aries and get some details. Because we talked about that Jupiter energy with the Archangel Raziel there. You know, very kind of big spiritual calling there. Alright, Aries. Thank you, guys. So you have the Eight of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, one of your cards for me. Oh, you got a lot of energy here. Oh, fascinating. All right, so we're going to talk about that. The Four of Swords, the Three of Cups, and the Ace of Cups here, Aries. And let's talk about, oh, and you got the Death card here. And with the reason I'm kind of hung up on this Death card is because when I do a pre-shuffle, sometimes cards will reveal themselves, and if they happen to pop up during the readings, we'll definitely talk about them. But I remember when I picked up the deck, this card like shot out when I did, and you know, I don't have a recording to prove that or anything, but so you just have to take my word for it. Talk with your guides there. But the Death card is a card of transformation, and I do feel that this is that a certain part of you, in a sense, is dying, and there's something newer that is right, that's awakening here. I almost feel like that with this Knight of Swords. This is Aquarius energy for me, but I feel like your focus is shifting. You know, we're going towards a different type of energy, maybe doing some things that for some feel more fulfilling. With this Ace of Cups here, I feel like this is an invitation to maybe move. I feel like it's like this, getting these energies moving in on things that just bring you joy, that fill you with passion, that like, again, that it's something different, embracing your unique qualities here, with especially when we're talking about that Mars in Aquarius, doing things that for you, maybe like investing in different hobbies possibly that may have interest you, finding that spirit family. Maybe we wanted to join a sports team, maybe you wanted to do find a trivia team, maybe you just, I don't know, it's like it's finding something in this spiritual family, and then building something here with the Queen of Pentacles, that, because for me that's Capricorn energy, so a lot of your energy and Cap's energy coming through there, and you got both your choice cards here. Two of Pentacles is one of Cap's, Two of Wands is one of yours. But yeah, I feel the Queen of Pentacles here is this, for some, I feel it's this, what are we bringing to the table as far as like maybe to our spiritual family, like as far as like, I'm getting like a collaborative energy that's going on there, and how that may even kind of change you there, Aries. Getting involved in some more kind of social types of things, these exchanges of different ideas in a sense, these I feel like just kind of even deeper conversations here with the Three of Cups. Like I feel like talking about kind of bigger things in yourself. You know, am I a star seed? You know, or how do I fit in the grand scheme of the universe there? And it's like, it's this Ace of Cups here. I feel like it's trusting these newfound emotions that may come up for you here, Aries. Because I feel like there's something that we're learning more about ourselves in a sense. And The Queen of Pentacles, though, she's giving me a very hard look, and I feel like that there is this energy too of protecting what you this growth that you've gone through there, protecting this this group, these guides, these things, but also too just one more thing with the Eight of Wands here, Aries, and I hope this energy has been translating well because this is quite a bit that's coming through, but this Eight of Wands I feel like is getting these divine messages, a sense. This Eight of Wands, Queen of Wands are really kind of syncing together and taking these intuitive actions when the energy feels right. It's like the Queen of Wands, she's, you know, the fun thing with her is that I remember reading somewhere, and I like how they interpret these, how the court cards kind of rule over certain decans, and the Queen of Wands rules over the first two decans of Aries, you know, which is 20 degrees of your sign, and then the last 10 of Pisces. And so there is this blend of intuition and instinct that's coming through there, and I feel like there's this, this Eight of Wands is feeling these messages a little bit differently. Maybe there's this clear, something tuning in, that could even be something too, maybe even new type of senses coming up here. Those clairs, the clairsentience, the clairaudience, the clair, just paying attention to that there, Aries. So, I like this. I really dig it. Alright. Now let's get a little bit more water here. I just actually got my teas in today. And let's talk about Taurus. Because you have Big Papa, Jupiter, that's still in Taurus. And then you have Uranus that's been in Taurus as well. And with Big Papa, you know, Jupiter in Taurus, I feel like especially now that because Jupiter will be, I mentioned he'll be there to the 25th of May. And over this last year, because Jupiter entered on the 16th of last year. And, you know, that for you, especially if you have Jupiter in Aries, that would be starting a new kind of 12-year cycle. You would have just had your Jupiter return not too long ago when he was in Aries the previous year before that. And I feel like it's thinking about now how your investments in things, how investing, or think about where you've invested in, you know, as far as this could be in finances, this could be in actual change, you know, how that's been looking. And I feel like it's being, again, this Queen of Cups energy is being kind to yourself and compassionate to all of the initiative that you've taken up until this point. You know, investing in yourself, learning a bit more about your sense of self-worth and, you know, what really matters to you. And seeing where we may have been indulging in more sort of like short-term needs and getting into that sort of hedonistic energy of Taurus at a lower expression, just feeding those base needs as opposed to investing in things more kind of long term, and how those efforts have been fruitful there, Aries. And if you haven't, you know, that we're still in this energy until May, but even after that goes away, the energy doesn't just necessarily stop. There's just the focus shifts. But I do feel that while we're in this blend of energy, you can still, this is a prime time to get sort of like ways that you want to grow, ways that you want to grow in your group, maybe how we want us collectively to grow, just thinking about these big things. But also too, I feel like a return to appreciating just the simple things in life, you know, because we can be focused on that constant striving for more and forgetting about the things that we already have, from the stuff that we've amassed so far to the things that that were already there for us when we were born into this realm, you know, on getting on this journey, the abundance of nature that's around you. And you know, even just, I remember I just moved not too long ago, and I was going through the forest, which I've missed having forest around, and I've been appreciating it now. But I remember feeling like I was just walking through this portal, and it was just like this sort of just magical air just kind of took on, and like it felt like the plants were just like whispering this like abundance, and it was just really lovely. Oh, it's fantastic there. So I think appreciating those smaller abundance things keeps you in that abundant mindset there, Aries. And then you have Uranus that's been in Taurus since 2018 of May and will be there through the 7th of July 2025, which of course will do a little retrograding as well. But this has really been kind of challenging our kind of societal values, particularly those related to like materialism, consumption, and what we consider actually valuable there, Aries, and seeing where it's been getting comfortable in the lack of security that has been going on, and comfortable in being flexible with these changes. And this there's been a new definition of what it means to feel secure and to feel comfortable. This is a strange place for Uranus to be, because Taurus does like this stability. It likes to change, of course, but at their own pace. Whereas Uranus is just like now. Like we're in the time death card right now. Okay, you need time, 5 minutes. And it's just like it's not just change for the sake of change. It's that change where we feel that, again, maybe we've given our power up to something with the devil, or just noticing where something is no longer serving us a purpose here, the tower being here, and listening to those intuitive signals and how we can change this energy up to get this sense of autonomy back. But yeah, these are some deep questions that I feel like, because again, I feel when people think about what do you value, this is deeper than, I feel, just like the material things, like the Hierophant. Even though it's Taurus, this is a very intuitive figure. What do you actually believe in? What have we put all of our stock into, and how that's even changing, how that energy's shifting there. But also, too, this can coincide with like environmental changes, natural disasters, and just like groundbreaking discoveries even related to the planet. How there is that energetic connection between like you and trees, and how when I was out kind of with this hike, this person had this really kind of powerful moment with the nature there, and just felt compelled to just like connect with this tree. It was actually really lovely, and it may sound a little hippie, but it was really beautiful. I'm just like thinking how we're all interconnected, not even just as people, but even connected to the trees, to the animals, to the rocks, to just in nature. And just thinking about how we treat this home that we're going through this experience on there, Aries. So, but let me get your last oracle card here. Get you on board, seeing how we're gonna tackle things going forward there. Oh, all right, got another guide here for you, Aries, because you have Archangel Raguel here. Check him out. And he's a card of justice, harmony, and solutions. And I like this because I definitely get, of course, like with these scales here, justice card, Libra energy coming through here. But I feel that this is kind of looking at where we may be lacking harmony in our worlds here, Aries, and what solutions can we come up with that. But I do feel this justice energy is, for some, it's like remembering that all of our actions have consequences, whatever that's looking like, and I feel if we've been noticing that, it's been like, I feel like when we make these decisions, it's like the scales are asking, does this actually resonate with you, or if you're not, and if it doesn't, then that keeps leading to these devil moments, these sort of like forced towers in a sense, as opposed to you initiating a tower moment, initiating a change here with the Emperor. So I feel this is you really kind of taking accountability for these decisions that you've made, and especially with this emotional influence, how we've reacted to certain things, and how we can come from a more balanced approach going forward, being more proactive, be more solution oriented, as opposed to maybe getting caught up in the storm of some things there, Aries. So very interesting thing to think about. But let me get your last tarot cards here so I can get you out of here. Thank you, guys. All right. So you have the Seven of Swords, the Ten of Cups, the Star card, and the Temperance card here. This is Aquarius and Sagittarius energy, and let's switch back over. Because I feel with this energy here, because that's interesting, I'm just even kind of paying attention to, got a lot of fixed energy here with Scorpio, the Death card, Aquarius, the Star, and Taurus, the Hierophant, Taurus energy. I feel that for some we've been maybe fixated on a certain type of thing here, like whether this be maybe there's somewhere where we're resisting some sort of change in our life, and this may be where we need to look to the kind of fixed placements in our charts as well, because even if you don't have placements in houses, or like planet placements in a house, they fall on a house cusp. And that could be maybe some of our fixed energy is feeling this. And it's just, I feel like it's like how we're locked in some sort of way here. Because something I feel with the Temperance card feels a little out of balance. You know, and there's a need to kind of bring this sense of harmony back. This sense of... And I feel like it's remembering too that that peace cannot exist without conflict, and not necessarily that there needs to be wars. I feel like that's the extreme expression of that. I feel like that there's more so that in order to get this harmony there, we need to observe where the challenge is at. What energies do we need to heal, you know, or where do we need to see growth? Where do we need to be a little more innovative, a little more problem solving to get to this place of peace and harmony that we want to get to, Aries? And it feels that there's the Seven of Swords being here is finding that alternative solution, is to really kind of think outside of the box here, because I feel that maybe we've been with the Knight, how I was saying with the Knight of Swords, maybe rushing some things along. Maybe there's this but yeah, I just feel like there's some, just with this, there's like, just some sort of alternative way of going about something here. And I like that. Just one last thing. The Seven of Swords is the moon in Aquarius, which you have the moon, the High Priestess here in Aquarius here. I feel that there's this energy of it's like this looking, it's like, for some it's like this looking to intuition, or looking to these, paying attention to like these sort of like intuitive ideas, you know, like intuitive solutions for certain problems here. But I think I'm going to leave that there, Aries. Just a little something I feel like to think about. But if you like any of that, Aries, that was an interesting one. If you like that, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Aries, if you know someone who's been maybe been in this reactive sort of energy, getting some things to reflect on, you know, or even just getting in touch with your guides, because that's very interesting. I feel like how you got two archangels that kind of popped up here for you, showing that you're divinely guided. But, subscribe there. You Emperor, hit that bell button to get notified on all these videos each week. And actually something to actually bring up while I'm thinking about that, Aries. And just because with all the personal readings and things and how stuff has been going, I'm going to be switching up the how I'm doing on the channel a little bit. I'm gonna probably omit the weekly readings for y'all and just stick to the monthly and the yearly ones. So you got your yearly one coming up there, and I actually got some cool things in the mix for that there, Aries. But also, I feel that also too, I may be doing some different sort of things there, maybe some shorter videos to kind of do like more sort of soul tribe collective types of videos, certain aspects and things. So just kind of stay tuned for that there, Aries. But also, what else? Oh, just a reminder that I am open for personal readings there, Aries. You know, definitely schedule that down. I have the schedules to set up the different services down in the description box below. If you follow me on Instagram, I also have links in the bio as well. I'm working on being definitely more active on that there, Aries. So check out the stuff in the future. And then last thing, if you have any Cancer in your placement there, Aries got the lovely Queen of Cups. That's Cancer energy for me here. You got a lot of cardinals here, all these queens. But if you have any Cancer in your placement, you can check that out find that out. If you're not sure, check that out with me and what that means in your chart: Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars. Come on over to the chariot, and friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans. Just remember that you have our lovely ruler here, the High Priestess. And it's a great old time there, Aries. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here, Aries. And I like this because you got the Nine of Pentacles here. And I feel like this is you enjoying the growth that the fruits of your labor there, Aries, the work that you've put in there, how you've shown up for yourself, how you've changed, how you've learned to trust your guides even with this, how you had like that guardian angel type of energy, you know, how you're, because even with the Ten of Cups, that can be a card of family, of community. It maybe for some we've been just kind of doing this kind of solo thing, kind of been focusing on ourselves, and now there's this time there's power in community. Even thinking too that you got Aquarius, you know, and even just thinking about it as a placement, the Moon in Aquarius is very friendly. It can be maybe a little private depending on where the house placement falls, but you know, there still is that engagement well about forming these finding that sense of tribe and sense of community. So I dig that. Let me get you the oracle card here, Aries, so I can get you out of here. All right, Aries. Alright, so you have the seventh card here, which is Chariot energy, but you have the card of impermanence here, Aries. And I feel with this energy here that, you know, we're allotted a finite amount of time on this journey. And where our souls and spirits are eternal, this vessel isn't. And I don't feel like that's meant to try to get you in this place of, you know, this depressed energy, anything along like that. It's more so that, you know, like this energy of why put off tomorrow what you can start today. And not that we're taking, you know, adding on this unnecessary stress that we're trying to do all of the change in the day. But I feel like it's living more intentionally. When you're waking up, you know, how are we going about the day? How you want to start your day going off, and then when maybe when you get ready to go to sleep, you know, just even being just aware of just like, all right, I accomplished this thing today. I showed up for myself in this way and that way and another way, and I'm going to be even better the following day, you know, and just keep going about that through your journey there, Aries. And I just feel like just appreciating this kind of this preciousness of this journey and how this whole experience is meant to help you grow on this soul level. So I like that, Aries. I think I'm going to leave that there. So you stay safe out there. all this growth, and know that you are divinely protected there, and just be mindful of those, just that reactive energy there, because with just even thinking with Pluto forming that conjunction, or Mars forming that conjunction with Pluto, that could be slightly aggressive, just with that rebellious energy. So just something to be mindful of, just at a lower expression. Raise that vibration through the roof. Oh, that's even interesting too, the Aries. I even just started paying attention how you have the Death card, Temperance, the Tower, or the Devil, the Tower, and the Star card here. They're all going order. So I feel like there's something here, some sort of sequential thing that I feel like is even getting ready to happen here. So that's even something to pay attention to. And then I will catch you, Aries, on the next one. Later.